5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, I invite you, if you're able, to rise and face the door and imagine Shabbat as a beautiful bride or queen coming down the aisle to join us in our sacred time together. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikdem nesuchu, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, kiva orakumi ori, shir taberi, kibod Adonai alayich nigla. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechato dili krat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Wait. Please be seated. And now that we have lit our Shabbat candles and welcomed in the Sabbath bride, we are ready to fully segue into our evening service with the Chatzu Kaddish on page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach irtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yom echad, u'v'chayetecho beit Yisrael, bagala, u'v'zman kariv, ve'imeru amen. Yehesh merabah mevarach, le'alamu ame amaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yinaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma, ve'imeru amen. On page 146, you are called to worship. Please rise in body or spirit for the Baruch Hu. Oh, the morning one? Jacobson. Yeah, that one, yeah. Da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya da da da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Page 149. Sorry, I forgot I was doing that too. Page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my siblings, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. On pages 152 and 153 is the Shema, followed by the Ve'ahavta. I invite you to prepare yourself for these words of Torah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha avaderech, ushachlecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. Please be seated. Here's another place where you might want to keep your finger in the Shabbat section as we turn to page 524. And we read responsively. You who live secure in your warm houses, who return at evening to find hot food and friendly faces. Consider that this has been, I commend these words to you. Engrave them on your hearts, when you are in your house, when you walk on your way, when you go to bed and when you rise. Repeat them to your children, or your house may crumble. Disease render you powerless. Your offspring avert their faces from you. We turn back to page 158 and remember that even after the darkest hour, liberation comes. Mi chamocha ma'alim Adonai, mi kamocha nadar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, ma'lechutecha ra'u v'necha bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe ze'eli, hanu ve'yameru Adonai, Yimloch le'olam va'ed, Ni chamocha ba'alim Adonai, Ni kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef ele, Nora tehilot osef ele. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162, The Joy of Shabbat. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'la'atzot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'la'atzot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. U'vayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'la'atzot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. We come now to the central portion of our prayer service. The Amidah begins on page 164 and continues over the next few pages. Please rise in body or spirit. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rab le'hoshia, morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech meimit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We continue together on page 173. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from the shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of the living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha-Shabbat. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai she'odcha levarcha b'yir'ah na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 178, Prayer for Peace. Shalom Ra. Shalom Cha. Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra. Shalom Cha. Tasim Leolam. Lechol HaShalom. Ki ata Sadom. Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Ra. HaYisrael Ocha. Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra. HaYisrael Ocha. Tasim Leolam. Etov enecha levares et amcha Yisrael bechol et ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Ram Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Ram Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. You take a moment now to turn to page 521. We begin with silence, the silence of death, the silence after destruction. There are times when songs falter, when darkness fills life, when martyrdom becomes the constellation of faith against the unrelieved black of space about us. There are no words to reach beyond the edge of night, no messenger to tell the full tale. There is only silence. The silence of Job, the silence of the 6 million, the silence of memory. Let us remember them as we link our silences. We take a moment now for silent prayer. You might use the words on pages 180 and 181, as is typical, or peruse these next few pages of the 520s of the Yom HaShoah readings, or the meditations of your own heart. Yehiyu leratzon imre fi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and redeemer. We turn our thoughts now to those who are ill, injured, or in need of, are recovering from surgery and in need of our prayers for healing. We have on our Misha Berach list Rosalind Cantu, Shelley Leon, Richard Blaylock, Nick Joliot, Erwin Marcus, Anita Ash, Steve Booker, Ann Jackson, Clinton Parks, Jane Drabkin, Kelly Deschamps, Gail O'Neill, Susan Van Cott, Keith Yancey, David Taylor, Nancy Goldstein, Joe Mincer, Jean Carlton, Jim Pepe, Donna Crescenzo, Lori Greenbaum, Lizzie Johnson, Sarah Iorillo, Debbie Rubenstein, Mark Palmer, and Karen Hastings. And if anyone else has a name they'd like to share this time, please do so. The Misha Berach is in the middle of page 371, and we hold in our hearts all those in need of healing of mind, body, or spirit. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Tazria Mitzorah, in which we learn the beginnings of purity laws. The double portion is bookended with some laws around naturally occurring impurities, while the bulk of both portions is about the mysterious sara'at. Often, sara'at is translated as leprosy, but that's not quite right. For one thing, sara'at can infect clothing and houses, which is not something leprosy does, I'm pretty sure. But more importantly, the disease is treated spiritually rather than medically. In The Hidden Order of Intimacy, Aviva Gottlieb Zornberg points out that even in real life, our skin can react physically to psycho-emotional distress. So it's not such a leap for the Mitzorah to break out into these scaly patches due to spiritual misalignment. At one point in her explanation of the spiritual condition of loneliness of the Mitzorah, she brings a midrash that asks, why is the Mitzorah isolated? Which is further evidence that sara'at is not leprosy, because separation of lepers was too commonplace. They would never ask that question. And the answer in the midrash is because of the isolation they caused families. And at first when I read this, I was confused by this terse answer, but I realized that the midrashic understanding of tzara'at as the outcome of gossip or defamation was so ubiquitous that neither the midrash itself nor Zornberg in bringing it felt the need to clarify that that's what they were talking about. That's the cause of the isolation, is mean words tearing families apart. Later in her chapter on this parsha, Zornberg brings another midrash that engages in wordplay to assert that a Metzorah, which literally just means one with sara'at, is one who motzi ra, that's two words, but literally means brings forth evil. So powerful are words that if used maliciously or even carelessly, one can create evil in the world, causing material damage to people, relationships, and property. This week, Jews around the world commemorated Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. The Holocaust, like most genocides, started with dehumanizing rhetoric. Hitler blamed the Jews for Germany's defeat in World War I, for the economic depression, and for any other social ill Germany was facing. As his power increased, so did the verbal assault on the Jewish community and other undesirables or degenerates. Comparisons to rodents and other vermin became frequent, and laws to subjugate these communities became easy to institute without pushback from the broader population as they began to believe what they had heard about the Jews. Similarly, the Hutus of Rwanda called the Tutsis cockroaches, and the ethnic Serbs called the Bosniaks parasites. These words matter, and they lead to dangerous actions. Such words must be shut down as soon as they are uttered, and the people willing to engage in such rhetoric must be made to feel the social consequences of continuing to harm others. Not complete, immediate, and unending exile of the community, of course, but perhaps a period of feeling the isolation that their words are causing others. A time to reflect, hopefully, and come back into spiritual alignment, and thus rejoin a loving community. Toward the end of her chapter on Tazria Mitzora, Aviva Gottlieb Zornberg expounds on a Talmudic teaching about finding the good spot within evil. The Talmudic teaching is speaking generally, but she applies it to the condition of tzara'at, looking for the clear spot of skin among the scales as a way of looking for signs of hope, that this too shall pass. It is, of course, a difficult endeavor in any situation, but, she writes, the chaos of good and evil is the place from which music begins. Of course, she is not talking at all about Yom HaShoah in her chapter, and there is no clear spot to be gleaned from such horror. We cannot find silver lining to genocide. We can, however, try to make meaning out of our trauma, memorialize it, learn from it, and appreciate ourselves as a phoenix emerging from the ashes. We can find and make music out of it, as is evident in our opening and closing songs tonight. Although, as I was saying earlier, Dona Dona was not actually written about the Holocaust, it just is often sung in relation. The tune maybe was composed, but the words are older. And Eli Eli, Hannah Senesh, was a Holocaust well, she got out in the early stages of the occupation, the Nazi occupation, became a paratrooper in pre-Israel Israel, and then went back to liberate the other Jews of Hungary. So she was almost a survivor, but she went back to save others and ended up dying in the Holocaust herself. But she wrote these beautiful poems that then became these beautiful songs that we still carry with us today. From the chaos of good and evil is a place from which music begins. Art helps to process and communicate trauma, which is imperative in learning to move forward in life. May we remember the 6 million, and may we honor their memory by choosing words of love, healing, and connection, refusing to engage with words that isolate, threaten, and harm. And may our community thrive in a new world of peace and well-being. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We turn toward our concluding prayers. We turn to page 586 for the Aleinu, and I'd like to ask Andrea back up to open our ark for us and invite the rest of you to please rise in body or spirit before the open ark. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגוי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, לגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר וה' למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We turn to page 530 for an El Malay Rachamim, a prayer for the souls of the 6 million who have gone to eternity. El Malay Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamse Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShchina, V'ma'alot Kedushim Udhorim, Kezohar Kiam Matzirim, Et Nishmot 6 million, Achenu v'Achiotenu, Shenehergu al Kiddush Hashem, Be'al harachamim yastirem, Beseter kenafav leolamim, V'yitzror hachayim et nishmatam, Adonai hu nachalatam, Ve'anuchu b'shalom al mishkavam, V'nomar amen. On page 533, we're going to just do one. We say a mourner's Kaddish for the 6 million and also for those in our own community that are saying Kaddish this week. This week marks a yahrzeit for Chaim Friedman, Lawrence Rittenberg, Richard Porter, Bella Wattenmaker, Florence Mayer, Sarah Marcus, and Ruth Weissman. And we are still within the year of mourning for Calvin Glass, Alicia Glass, Cesar Lenegra, David Frost, Floretta Chernin, Linda Rosen, David Hornick, and Sandy Sandillo. If anyone else has a name, either someone whose yahrzeit is this week, someone who died in the past year, or if you had a family member that perished in the Shoah or survived but has since perished and you want to honor their name tonight, please share any of those names now. Thank you. I need Cerulean to Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay, then come on up. So I'm gonna read the words of the Kaddish and you interject the names of the camps where they.
Okay, so you're going to do the Hebrew and I'm going to do the English.
Yeah.
How's that?
Okay. Please rise if you are able. Yitgadal,
Auschwitz,
V'yitkadash,
Lotz,
Shemei Rabbah,
Hana,
Ba'alma Divrach Hirutei,
Babiyah,
V'yamlich Malchutei,
Maidanek,
B'chayachon Uv'yomechon,
Birkenau,
V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael,
Hovno,
ba'agala uvizman kariv,
Janowska.
v'imru, Amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach,
Therein Stotts,
v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam,
Buchenwald,
v'yitnaseh v'yithadar,
Treblinka,
v'yit'aleh v'yithalal,
Vilna,
shemei d'kudusha barichu,
Bergen-Belsen,
Leila,
Mauthausen,
min kol birchata v'shirata,
Dachau,
tushbechata v'nechemata,
Minsk,
da'amiran be'alma,
Warsaw,
v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. A couple of announcements, and we're going to count the Omer as well, which it's not on the slide, but if you want to follow along, the blessing is on page 570. Today is the 16th day of the Omer. No, because it's nighttime. Tonight is the 17th day of the Omer, which is 2 weeks and 3 days. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. Hayom, what did I just say? 17. Esrei Sheva, Yom Shehem Shtei Shavuot, Shalosh Yamim LaOmer. Today is the 17th day, which is 2 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. And what are we counting the Omer for? It leads us from Passover to Shavuot. So mark your calendar. Shavuot is coming up in a little less than 5 weeks. We will celebrate it on the Shabbat. So Shavuot starts on Thursday night, but we're going to do it as part of our Shabbat service on that Friday, the 23rd, I think is whatever the Friday of Memorial Day weekend is Shavuot. Besides a Friday night service, we're going to have a very dairy potluck. We will provide the blintzes. You all bring something else to share. And a text study on life after death. So we're also in the midst of this adult ed series. We did the first one after our Shabbat morning service at the beginning of this month on making Jewishly informed decision making. On after Shabbat service in May, on the morning, the first Saturday in May, we will have the next session, which will be a presentation from Northern Virginia Jewish Funerals. And then we have to move the date of the last one. It will no longer be the Saturday morning service in June. It's going to be the week earlier as our text study for Shavuot of life after death. So that is all coming up. There is Sunday school on Sunday. our BBB is over, but do you want to give an announcement about its success? Okay.
I am pleased now, we have a really good turnout, we had over 7 people show up, and we collected over $4,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, I told you, we did well, and everybody seemed to have a good time, and what I really noticed was that people were listening. People were sitting down, chatting with each other, kids got to dress up a little bit, and everybody seemed to enjoy the week. So thank you, everybody who helped out, I really appreciate it, and who knows, maybe we'll do it again next year.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for major announcements. As always, we have Torah study on Zoom on Mondays. I've completely lost track of which week we're on for Canasta or Mahjong, so you'll have to wait till Debbie comes back and can set us right again next week. And our book club is reading Rav Chista's Daughter. We'll meet at the end of the month. Does anybody else have any announcements, personal simchas, joys to share? Okay, then we will conclude with Dona Dona, which was the other song sheet at the front. On a wagon bound for market, there's a calf with a mournful eye. High above him there's a swallow, winging swiftly through the sky. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laughing like the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 dona. Stop complaining, said the farmer, who told you a calf to be? Why don't you have wings to fly with, like the swallow so proud and free? How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laughing the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Calves are easily bound and slaughtered, never knowing the reason why. But whoever treasures freedom, like the swallow, has learned to fly. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their laughing the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 dona. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you again to Thomas for playing for us and to Andrea for this lovely oneg that we can now go enjoy.